Welcome back to what is the third video in this series, if you're following along and if you've watched it from the top, on how to use this specific financial calculator. So we've worked with so far, if you're following along, we've worked with the HP 10B2 Plus financial calculator. That was the first video that included a lot of hopefully helpful general time value money information. This was the second video, BA2 Plus Professional. I forgot to mention the professional part in the second video, which is very similar to this video. So I think this video is probably going to be the shortest yet. I think the first video was about 30 minutes, the second about 20. I'm watching my little countdown or count up timer right here, and I'm going to make sure that we're done with this before 20 minutes. So you can double check me and make sure that I do that. Okay, so I had a thought and I want to remember it. You might be thinking, wow, I didn't watch that first video. 30 minutes for a video on how to, and we're not really doing much with the financial calculator. We're working with the basic time value of money keys or the line in this calculator, which I like how they denote it with white keys. That's kind of cool. Can't miss that. This is the time value of money line where we're going to be making most of our inputs and looking for most of our answers. Yeah, the first video was 30 minutes because we sprinkled a lot of great, useful information in there. Second video, 20 minutes. Yeah, still kind of a longer video, but again, additional sprinklings of what you will hopefully find as useful information as it relates to just general time value of money concepts. Of course, each video is specific to the model of financial calculator that you have. So you might know how to operate your financial calculator already if you're operating a BA2 Plus from Texas Instruments. But I thought I would put this video series of 4 videos together because it's just better than saying, figure it out. It's your calculator, right? So as I've mentioned before, I didn't spend hours upon hours reading boring user's manuals. But what we're going to be doing, it's pretty basic. And so I'm going to walk through a couple of examples if you haven't watched those prior videos. But I do recommend that you watch the videos because there's some new information in every video, and it's not all specific to the individual financial calculator model that we're focusing on. So let's start with the on-off. Pretty simple, but I got to talk about it. You know how to do that already, right? Just make sure your battery is working. So again, this financial calculator is very similar to the one that was the focus of the second video, the BA2 Plus Professional. So let's start with the adjusting the decimal places because that's something that we need to know how to do. And if you don't know how to do that already, you use this second key. Sorry, there may be a little bit of glare. You use this second key and then the format button, which is conveniently located right above the decimal point there, like that. They were thinking when they designed this. And then 8 and enter. We're going to be using the enter key quite a bit with this financial calculator. You can count them. There are 8 places to the right of the decimal point. Let's do it again because reps are good. Second, format, 2, got to hit enter again, clear. There we go. 2 places to the right of the decimal point. Great. When we're working with a question that asks us to figure out that requires that we figure out the monthly payment, for example, or the present value of an annuity stream, for example, this might do just fine having 2 places to the right of the decimal point. When we're working with a question that asks us to solve for the true investment yield, for example, the true annual investment yield, this might not be enough. We might want more places to the right of the decimal point. And again, we do that by pressing second, format, 6, enter. Okay, clear it out. There we go. Now we have 6 places to the right of the decimal point. Signs matter. Our money's flowing out of our hands or into our hands. Sometimes the word payment can carry a negative connotation. And if that's your mindset or if that's your perspective, I'm asking that you please consider changing that. Because not all payments are bad. I don't know about you, but I love when people make payments that come my way. In that case, monies would be flowing into my hand. So we think about those as a positive no sign value. When monies are flowing out of our hands, what would that be? A deposit, an investment. That carries a negative sign. I'm looking at my count up timer. I got to go because I'm at about 5.5 minutes. So let's get right into the question. So we're going to clear our time value of money registers. And to do that, we press second, clear time value of money, as we'll discuss later, when working with an uneven annuity or an annuity with a series of payments that are uneven or not level. To clear those registers in the IRR functionality or the net present value functionality of the calculator, that's how we do it. But for right now, we're sticking with the basic time value of money calculator inputs. And to go back to an example that we've used, we're going to assume a $100 investment initially. Because signs matter, that's an investment. Monies are flowing out of our hands. We set it up by pressing negative 100, negative again. There it shows up, PV. Remember, we have to be able to interpret these keys. Present value, what does it mean? Well, hopefully when the course is done, you'll know what it means. But that is a single or a lump sum payment. These are the two keys, PV and FV, for single or lump sum payments. Does it happen now, that lump sum payment? Does it happen later? Or are we trying to calculate the future value of this lump sum payment, which is what we're doing here? 2 for N. There are two investment in this investment period, or for this investment horizon. That's a better way to say it. There are two investment periods. 0 for payment because we don't have any recurring level or even payments here in this real world example. Let's use a recall key because that's really important. Recall N. Okay, 2 period investment horizon that contemplates a $100 investment money's leaving our hand. Let's say today. Recall payment. Okay, there are no recurring payments, so just one single payment. Recall I. Okay, we haven't put anything in there yet, so let's put in 5 for I. That's the true investment yield. That's the way I like to talk about it, not interest rate. That's old language. True investment yield. Could be a true annual investment yield. It could be a true monthly investment yield. We got to figure out how we're telling time between the period markers on the timeline. It's one of the first things that we need to do. And so for this example, let's just assume that that is in fact a true annual investment yield. So we have 2 1-year periods for this investment horizon. And we need to press compute future value to get our future value. So we have to press the enter key quite a bit with this financial calculator. We also have to press the compute key. Not a bad thing. You just need to know that you have to do that. Okay, we're going to clear the time value of money registers. Pretty simple. And let's go back and double check. You don't really need to do this in depth of double checking, but it's just kind of nice to tell that, yes, in fact, all of those registers were cleared out and we could continue on. And we just will, because why not? Because we're here now. You don't need to do that every time, but just by pressing second, clear TVM, that'll do it as long as you press the buttons firmly enough. Okay, let's go on to the next example. This example contemplates a $100 level payment. Okay, how many level payments? 2 of them. The way that I teach this, there's a relationship between what you input for payment, PMT, that even series, and N. So there are 2 $100 payments. The assumption is because we're not going to use begin mode, because I do not like begin mode, because you can forget to change back to end mode. And that's like being one question off on a standardized test, and that's no good for anybody. And I also like consistency, the fact that I can tell you whether you're working with your financial calculator or you're working with the building block time value of money equations, the relevant equation. There's always a relationship between the payment, when applicable, when you're dealing with an even or level payment, and N. So let's use the recall key again. There are 2 $100 payments. There we go. and we're at 10 minutes. Recall present value. Okay, haven't put anything in yet. 0 for future value. So let's use the recall key. 0 for future value. Recall payment. Okay, 100. How many $100 payments? Okay, 2 of them. Recall, haven't put that in yet. Let's put in 10 for the true investment yield because we're trying to compute the present value. So compute present value, $173.55. That can, with a dollar amount, that can be kind of a lot. So let's change the number of decimal places to the right of the decimal point. Once again, the reps are good. Second, format to enter. Wow, I'm getting kind of good at this, aren't I? Back, and so compute present value. There we go. That's a lot easier to read. And so we would be indifferent between $173.55 received today or $100 to be received 1 year from today, and then another $100 to be received I guess in this example, 2 years from today, because we are assuming that this is a true annual investment yield. Let's change things up just to show you what I mean. Let's assume that this were a true monthly investment yield. Wouldn't that be great? 10% expected to be earned on an investment every month. That would be kind of slick. So let's walk through these keys and think about this again. We have a 2-period investment horizon. Okay, we're going to receive $100 1 period from now, and then another $100 2 periods from now, because there's this relationship between payment and N. And there's no single payment made at the end of this investment horizon. There could be, but there's not here. And we're trying to compute the present value. Okay, so I'd be indifferent between, that's a negative sign, right? Investing, right? $100 today. Well, actually, this might confuse you a little bit, but hopefully not. Let's kind of ignore this negative sign here, because it has to be the opposite, right? Because we've got a payment and then we're trying to determine the present value. And so we get to the same place. That's a better way to say it. So we're indifferent between, let's just go back to this example, investing. We're indifferent between investing $100 today, $173.55 today, assuming a 10% true monthly investment yield. We're indifferent between that and getting $100 1 month from now and then another $100 2 months from now, so long as the true monthly investment yield is 10%. So hopefully you can tell that telling time, how you're telling time on the timeline, it's really important. And we're going to be working with a lot of timelines in this course, but here we want to focus on the financial calculator. Yes, we are sprinkling some helpful information in this video, but this is a video that is really specific to this financial calculator. But there's a story here, just like in real estate. I worked in practice for 22 years to the day in real estate. Every real estate deal has a story. And every time value of money key, there's a story. We have to interpret that. Okay, so we're going to clear out the time value of money keys, and we're going to clear out the IRR, or net present value functionality. And now we're going to work with an uneven annuity. So uneven, we mean that payments are not level, they're not even. And so now we start with cash flow. We press that first. Cash flow 0, 0, enter. So there's no initial investment. We press down. Okay, that's cash flow 1, $100, enter. Frequency 1. Cash flow 2, $200, enter. Cash flow 3, $300, enter. Down. Cash flow 4, $400, enter. We go down. There's no cash flow beyond that. Now we press net present value. That's NPV is short for net present value. And now we're asked to input the discount rate. And we think of I as a true investment yield. So our hurdle rate in this example is 8%. 8%. So it's input as a percentage. And when we press down, we get to net present value. We got to press compute and enter a lot, but that's okay. And we compute it, and it's $796.22. How do we clear these registers? Last time in the second video, I don't think I was hitting the buttons hard enough. So we press second and clear work. Hopefully I did it this time. Did you hear the financial calculator hit my desk? Let's hope I did it. Now, in this storyline, we're assuming that we have an opportunity to invest $100 today. And with that investment will come $100 one period from now, $200 two periods from now, $300 three periods from now, and $400 four periods from now. So let's input these numbers. Cash flow, that's the first thing that we do. Good, it cleared it out. Well, we don't know if it cleared it out yet because that was our cash flow at time period 0 last time. Negative 100, negative, enter. That's our cash flow 0. Let's go down to cash. Oh, it's still in there. I must not be pressing the right button. I'm going to have to look into that. But let's just go through this example because it's in there and these numbers going forward have not changed. So there's a $100 investment. And then at time period 1, we expect to receive $100. At time period 2, $200. At time period 3, $300. At time period 4, $400. We press net present value to jump into that functionality. And see, this cleared out. So something's going wrong here. There must be a way to do this. I'm going to have to give you an update, but that'll come in a different video or in person. Does that sound good? 8, enter for our discount rate. And then we press down and we need to compute the net present value. So we simply press the compute button here and we get $696.22. If you recall the first number that we received when we were dealing with an uneven annuity, it was $796.22. Why is this number exactly $100 less than that other number? Because on our timeline that hopefully you can see in your mind's eye, at time period 0, there was a $100 investment. Net present value, I've seen net present value be kind of, I've seen it be a concept that some people don't understand. I've experienced that firsthand. People kind of scratch their head and say, what's net present value? It seems so complicated. It's not. The name says it all. It's the present value net of the initial investment. Net present value. The present value of the $100. So think about the timeline. $100 to be received one period from now. $200 two periods from now. $300 three periods from now. $400 four periods from now. If we discount all that back at 8%, the present value is $796.22. When we net out or subtract the initial investment of $100, the net present value is $696.22. I realize that we can only talk about numbers so much. We need to work the math. And we're going to be working a lot of math in this class. We're going to focus on week 2. The focus of week 2 is on the mathematics of finance, i.e., the time value of money. And we're going to have a lot of fun because these are real world situations that we are going to be working with. So I hope that you found this video useful, especially if the calculator that you operate is a BA2 Plus from Texas Instruments. I hope that you also found some of the sprinklings of general time value of money information to be useful. If at the very least, something that you kind of think about over the next few weeks. Guess what? I got 30 seconds left. I'm going to do it. No need to wait any longer. I'm going to turn this calculator off. First, I'm going to clear the basic registers. I'm going to clear the work. I'm going to turn it off, and I'll see you soon.